Have no fear, students. Because I am here.
Oh yes, indeed. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. Sorry about that. Things happen. Things happen. Either way, we are here. We are live. Welcome back to another Nicktendo Direct Podcast, episode 11. We got some juicy topics to get into. We got who's all in the chat. We got Oak City in the chat, Super Nintendo in the chat, Stitches in the chat. We're just gonna let this thing fill in. But while we let it fill in, I got some guests for you. I got two newcomers, and then I got the homie Avedon back again for the first time in a long time. Right? It's been a long time, right?
Sir. Yeah, it's been about a few weeks.
He was on here last week, but like I said, we got some newcomers. I got the homie Switchcraft. What's going on, my dude?
Hey, man, I'm good. Thanks for having me on. This is actually my first ever podcast, so all of you are catching this live for the first time ever.
Yes,
for those of you who don't know me, there are some familiar faces in the chat, but I just want to say hi. You can come on by for rants, impressions, and basically whatever I feel like talking about video games that day.
Sean Diamond with the sub. Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, coming by, man. I'm glad to have you here. And last but not least, the man, Smash JT. What's going on, my dude?
It is a pleasure to be here, Nick. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Not much going on, except for a whole bunch, actually.
Yeah, man, there's quite a bit. But either way, like I said, thanks for stopping by. We got Sean Diamond in here. Thank you so much. Chips is in here. Lopez, Yao Ming. Apparently, Yao Ming, the all-star center of the Houston Rockets, is in here. Yao, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So we got some juicy, I guess you could say juicy topics. We're gonna go over the Smash Bros. Direct, and you know, that was Wednesday. We're gonna go over that. Apparently, before pregame, me and JT were talking, and apparently there's more news that came out about Filip and his plagiarism for review. So we're gonna talk about that. We're going to talk about that, and of course, Nintendo and Square-Enix.
This is a song that never ends.
Right. So either way, let's just go ahead and start with Smash Bros. Direct. So Smash Bros. Direct was Wednesday. It was packed with information, packed with surprises. It was good. It was good. I had stated beforehand that I didn't know why they were doing this. I didn't want it. You know, that whole type of thing. Like, we had a whole E3, but then they kind of came up with more information. But I actually did enjoy it. I enjoyed the character reveals. Everything that they put into it was just ridiculous. I mean, they're calling it Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is the ultimate Smash Bros. Right here. So let me start with Switchcraft, man. Did you? I mean, I'm sure you watched it. What did you think about the Direct and all the features and everything that they packed in there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could not have picked a better title. I mean, this game has everything you could imagine. And I mean, I was doing a little bit of reading earlier today, and you know, the easiest thing for Sakurai could have been just to, you know, repackage it and make it a little bit more high def, take the Wii U version, include all the DLC, throw it onto the Switch, sell millions of copies, and it could have, you know, called it a win. But the fact that, you know, he loves this game so much and loves the fans, respects the fans, it's nice to see. And this is the game that's really going to get me back into the series with a vengeance. And, you know, I know he said that he'll keep making them as long as the demand is there. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, that's an understatement of the century. This game's going to explode.
Yeah, this game's going to meet demand, clearly. Well, I think that, you know, him saying that, if it meets demand, I think that this game's going to be out there for a while. This game's going to be out there for a long while before the next iteration of Smash Bros. Comes out. So, I mean, I think what they're looking, I think they're going to try to stick with the Switch plan of the Switch saying they want to stick around for 7 to 10 years. I'm pretty sure they want this game to stick around just as long. So if the demand's still there later, I think that's what he meant. But, I mean, yeah, the demand's going to be there. The Smash community is just, they can't get enough of it. So, JT, what did you think about the Direct, man?
For me, I'm sorry, I was coughing. Did you call me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to post something in the chat right now. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with this, but this is something that's been uncovered by some CSI investigators in the video game community that should probably have a job in the CIA and not on YouTube. But I first found out about this from Nicktendo, and this is called Spirits Mode, which has been deciphered frame by frame from the blurred image in the Nintendo Direct. And it shows an image of a flame, and it says spirits. Let me know if you guys can see that when you click on that link. Mm-hmm. So I was fascinated. It's funny because the first thing I tried to do when the Direct ended was try to decipher that, and my skills with Photoshop computer deciphering skills are not there. So thankfully somebody who does know how to do that did it. And now we have Spirits Mode uncovered. And now people are starting to wonder what could be in there. And that's got me really intrigued because it makes sense if you remember the beginning of the Nintendo Direct. They showed, it started off with basically taking the ghost out of Luigi. And I was under the presumption that was going to be like a single player mode, but now I'm starting to wonder if it's going to be like I've heard chatter, I don't remember where I heard this from, but people are talking about how it's going to be like a good versus evil, and there may be a bad version of every single character where you fight against to get through the Spirits Mode, but it's all conjecture at this point. It's very interesting though. So
yeah, it is very interesting. I hope, I thought it might be some sort of single player thing when they posted, when they, you know, he said, oh, here's in the bottom left hand corner is something green, it's blurred out, we can't talk about that yet, but we will talk about it later. I was like, there's got to be single player, there's got to be something there. I will piggyback on something. I did like the fact, man, they put, what really got me was the amount of stages they put in this game and the music. Like, they just put so much stuff in there on top of my favorite reveal was King K. Rool at the end. I thought that was pretty dope. But Avidon, what did you think about this direct and all of the news that we gotten? What was your favorite thing about it?
Well, first off, I want to say that I was already excited for this, and I somehow managed to not get spoiled because I went to work that day. So I stayed off the internet.
Congratulations.
Big mistake.
I stayed off the internet. I managed to not get spoiled, so I streamed it around 7 o'clock, and seeing Simon Belmont and Richard Belmont off the bat was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Then we got Chrome, and we got Dark Samus. Like in 5 minutes, we got 4 new character reveals. And seeing all these characters, seeing all the new modes that are coming, seeing King K. Rool at the end, it made me really just think beyond just, is this the ultimate Smash? And then I read an article that Sakurai wants to consider all players. It's like, it is like his old arcade days reminded him to do that. And it got me thinking, as I looked at the characters that we're getting, all these characters are characters that have been fan favorites and fan requested for a very long time. And that shows me that Sakurai is doing something that a lot of companies don't really do. He's actually listening to the consumer. He's actually meeting their demands and what they want. If you compare Tekken 7 right now, you got the weirdest DLC of all time. You got Negan from Walking Dead. It's like, who was asking for him? And the fact that Sakurai is giving people Crom, who people wanted him since Smash 4, people wanted Simon Belmont since Brawl, and King K. Rool was people wanted him in Smash 4 as well. So I'm excited. I love the character reveals, but I'm most interested in the Smash Squad.
Yes, the Smashdown or whatever they're calling, where you have to pick.
Yeah.
Are you talking about squads or Smashdown? I like the elimination part of Smashdown, where you have to pick a character, and then once that character's picked by anybody, you can't use them until the thing's over. I did like that. That was really interesting. That's going to challenge people to use different characters and get good at multiple characters instead of just being a one main. The squad though, yeah, dude, the squad is going to ruin a lot of friendships. I can tell you that right now. Squad battle is going to ruin a lot of friendship. I can tell you that right now. Whether it's the one-on-one and you guys are going together, or 5-on-5 at one time, I thought that was dope. Yeah, I can't wait.
Squad mode was my prediction when I made a video on that. When I did a collab with a bunch of people, we all did one major prediction, and I'm like, I want squad mode. I want to be able to pick multiple characters and have them just go. That's one thing that's been missing. And not only did we get squad mode, but we got tournament mode. And tournament mode, holy crap, could you imagine just having a party at your house and having everyone together for that? It's just incredible.
Yes, sir. Saltiest Gaming in the chat. What's going on, my dude? Rax the Great in the chat. Thanks for stopping by, my dude. Yeah, man, I mean, it's gonna be great. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the squads and the Smashdown. That was the two that really caught my eye. Plus, like I said, I'm a big music guy. When they announced how many tracks were in this game, and then the fact that you can now listen to them, you can take your Switch, put headphones in, and listen to it while your Switch is in sleep mode. That's also awesome. I thought that was dope. Let me ask
a question. How big is the file size and download going to be for Super Smash Brothers after finding out how many?
They said over 16 originally.
Oh my gosh,
dude! Just the music itself, music's going to take up more than the graphics. That's going to be I'm thinking 40.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
It might be.
They're going to fit it on these 64 gig cards.
They're going to have to use it. The 64 gig card, which they said they have, but they haven't used.
This is arguably going to be one of the biggest games for the Nintendo Switch in file size.
It reminds me. Sure. It reminds me of back with the Nintendo 64 with Ocarina of Time, when that cart was it was like a brick. It was so heavy because it was just so much RAM and data inside of that thing. I feel like that's going to be the equivalent for the Switch. When the cart comes out, you're going to be like, oh, this cart's actually a little heavier than
it's a little thicker. It's a little thicker than normal.
Yeah. I gotta take a mallet to get it into the Switch.
Well, jumping off of that, I mean, another question for you guys is, they want to probably make this game last for 5 to 7 years, as Nick was saying before. What do they do for DLC? What's left?
Here's my take on that. I've been doing a lot of research on that topic and how Nintendo's approached things, and I don't think they're going to do character downloads anymore. I think they're moving away from that because it's going to be their online service and they want an equal level playing field. So I think they're going to go the route of Fortnite and just do costumes and different styles that you can put on your characters. I don't think it's going to do
different
anything
wacky game modes maybe and this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, all I know is that there's still no Waluigi. And I know that a lot of people were upset that there was no Goku, because that. So you're wrong, Abaddon. Yeah, they may listen to some fans, but they didn't listen to those fans because the
game's not out yet. And then after, remember, we got Cloud a year after the game came out.
Yeah, Waluigi's definitely going to be in the game. It's
He's
just a matter
be in there. There was even a hint dropped when Sakurai was making that direct hub with those purple and yellow chairs in the background.
Yeah, I saw that. I was wondering. I was like, I think
he'll be in it.
Nintendo troll game is quite strong.
High. Very high. I got trolled with King K. Rool. I'll admit it.
We all got trolled with King K. Rool, bro. Because I was like King K. Rool, and then all of a sudden it was King DDD, and I was like, what? Like, huh?
Yeah.
We all got trolled with that one, dude. And it was, you can see a lot of people in the chat. They were like, I was watching the direct, I could see the live chat in the direct, and people were like, what is this? Like, there was a lot of bad words going through that chat in that moment. And then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh, my bad. Never mind. Yep. Yeah, dude, it was pretty good. So, I mean, safe to say Smash Bros. Is going to be a hit. Obviously, it's going to be a hit. It's going to sell consoles. It's going to be everything that I think Nintendo hopes it'll be. And I think it's going to be everything that we hope it will be. So we're going to move on to the next topic. And this one, we weren't going to talk about this. I didn't really want to talk about this, about the drama with the former IGN rep Filip, but apparently there's been more digging. JT, I'm going to let you lead this one because you came into the chat pregame talking about it. So apparently there has been a third investigation on plagiarism on this guy.
Yeah, there's been a third found incident, and this time it's for another Metroid game. So clearly this dude doesn't play Metroid games, but this one, I believe, was it Metroid Samus Returns. Sorry. Okay, so Samus Returns. So we got, Super Nicktendo in the chat. He wrote an awesome article on SmashJT.com. So check that out if you guys get a chance. I'll put the link in the description later. But
I was going to put it in the
chat. But as far as what he's been caught plagiarizing, it's not verbatim. It's not as bad as what he did to Boomstick and Dead Cells, but he basically, if you look at it side-by-side comparison, it's the same thing every time. He takes a few words from each sentence and changes them out, but not even moves the words around. He just uses a different word, but not even a good different word. It's like, instead of the word leaving, he says the word going. It's like that. It's the same thing. You need to try harder than that. So now he's got caught on 3 on top of Saltiest Gaming. Sorry, on top of Boomstick Gaming that they got caught stealing from. So that's 4 total. And here's the thing. This is going to sound really strange because I'm not all about piling on people. I'm not all about, picking up a torch and cheering on the mob to attack someone, but he kind of brought this upon himself. I mean, he made a video, if you want to call it apology, he made a video talking about this. It was no apology. It was a video talking about the situation, and he dared the media, the video game news media, to find more on him. And dude, I watched this video. I was one of the first people to see this video. I saw it. Under 1,000 people saw it when I was watching it, and I saw that, and I saw him say that, and I'm like, whoa, dude, don't ever, anyone in the chat right now, no matter how innocent you are, don't ever dare somebody to find skeletons in your closet, because they will be found whether you want them to be or not, because we all know we all got them. And you might even have forgotten about your skeletons in your closet. You might think you're the cleanest person in the world. They'll find something that insinuates something that you did that you're in trouble for, that everybody in the mob will come after. So he brought it upon himself. His biggest mistake outside. He's made a few. His biggest mistake outside of Boomstick Gaming was that quote-unquote apology video, because he didn't have a close friend watch it first and say, dude, don't say that. Dude, you never apologize. Dude, what's the point of this video? You're almost trying to act like you're not doing anything wrong. You're almost trying to clear your name here when you got fired from IGN for clearly plagiarizing someone. And now you are making your first video. Everyone in the world, all eyes on you. Here we go. Your turn to show your side of the story. And you literally fall flat on your face and prove that you have no idea how to even make a video. Right. And makes me question every single video he's ever made up until this point, because this is clearly his first original video. And oh my God, it is embarrassing. And that's my rant. Everyone else can go now. I'm done.
I just, like I said, when you did your live stream on Friday, his video had just went up, and you were watching it, and I said there from the gig, I was like, that's not a good look on his behalf, not a good look at all, because, like, first of all, he didn't, like, all he had to say was, look, I'm sorry that this happened. I know it's a bad look. It won't happen again. All he had to do was own it and apologize to Boomstick. It would have been swept under the rug. But the fact that he sort of halfway apologized about it and then said, I dare you to find something, I was like, that's not a good look. Like, it's not a good look at all. But either way, I mean, Abaddon, what do you think about this, man?
All right, so some of you guys know, as a matter of fact, Smash knows the most that I purposely was not going to cover this or really talk about this too much. And me and Smash, we saw eye to eye on this because I felt like I wouldn't be genuine if I felt like I'll just be following the mob. Right. If I was to jump in. And that's why I myself didn't jump in. But from that point, I started following the story more. And when I saw the apology, when I saw the response video, I got a little upset. Because you said sorry to the company that fired you. You said sorry to the game developers who are benefiting the most from this, actually. Mm-hmm. And then you purposely used the words. And the reason why I'm nitpicky with word choices, because he's been doing this for his whole career, word choices. When you're doing journalism, you know how to word your script. You know how to word everything you're about to say. Mm-hmm. So choosing the words, I have nothing but respect for you and I wish you all the best. That does not translate to I'm sorry. Saying in the beginning, I take responsibility for what happened does not mean I'm sorry. It means, you know what? I'll take the blame for it. Taking the blame for something does not mean you're sorry. So when I saw that, I was like, bro, why would you do that? It's like you obviously ripped off someone much smaller than you at the channel, which ironically he has more subs than him now. But
here's the thing. This dude's got 70,000 subs, and he's, from what I've been looking at, never created an original piece of material himself. And I'm like, oh, that's another thing.
But we'll touch into that. But the whole thing was, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's strike one. Now, strike two for me was you take down the video.
Right.
And strike three, you're putting copyright claims on whoever uploads your video. So
whoa, I didn't know that part.
Yep.
Whoa. So now I'm looking at you on a whole nother level. I'm looking at you. What are you trying to hide? What are you trying to hide? Why are you trying to? Dude. Because you're taking down that, and anyone who comes against you on Twitter, you're blocking them on Twitter on top of that. That's something else people are not talking about. He's blocking people on Twitter who's not praising him and patting him on the back, and he's taking down videos as re-uploads his video. So what you're trying to do is you want this whole situation to go away, and you don't want to be confronted with it. And to me, that's a much deeper problem that needs to be addressed, and that's his battle to run. That's his battle to fight.
You know what I was thinking about before I even joined into this thing. I was brushing my teeth and I was thinking about the situation. I didn't know we were going to be talking about it in the stream tonight, but I was like, in a way, I kind of relate what he's doing right now to almost like a psychological issue, like just for example, like alcoholism, where you're just you can't stop drinking and you're blaming it on everyone else instead of acknowledging you have a problem and then trying to fix it. And he's not acknowledging anything. He's avoiding it, and he's pretending like he's playing the victim. He's simply playing the victim. You look up a picture of irony in the dictionary and he is right there. Like taking down copyright claims of his video for people copying it and putting it up is beyond ironic to me, for someone who was clearly copying other people and now he's saying you can't do that to me is hysterical. Like, that is something where a stand-up comedian would have an entire crowd rolling in their chairs, because this guy he's lost it. Like, he's completely lost it.
He's being a pathological liar, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Switchcraft, what you got, man? You haven't said too much. So what you got?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'll keep my thoughts on this kind of short and sweet. And I think that, you know, some of the lessons that he, well, apparently failed to learn in this whole scenario are, I don't know, maybe some of the first lessons that I learned in perhaps the first week of dating my girlfriend, who's now my wife. When you screw up like this, you just gotta admit it,
own it,
and yeah, exactly, own it. Exactly. And then, you know, for everybody in the chat, if you're single or you're married or whatever, and you want to keep that relationship going, if you get found out like this, red-handed, and you have all these consequences come down, okay, you're not making it any better by still not coming clean. And then,
can I just interject real quick? I would argue that being married, you need to accept fault and responsibility, even if it's not your fault. But go on.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
True.
But and then on top of everything, I mean, regardless of what he said in that video, even if it didn't come out, the first thing that people are going to be doing now is, you know, going through all of his work with a fine-tooth comb. And even if there was legitimately nothing there, people would have found stuff and made connections and made it seem as though, you know, he's been copying his whole career. But to come out and say, you know, go try and find stuff, I mean, it's almost like he made the response video before any of the fallout, and he like hasn't learned anything. Like, he had this thing canned for a while and hasn't learned a single thing.
The worst look about him is making a response video. It has to be perfect. If he wanted to do that on a live stream, people would cut him a little bit more slack because it's off the cuff. You're going to do a video on this? You better get every single word you say and how you say it down to a T every second along the way, because you are going to be under the magnifying. You're going to be under a telescope.
Yeah, and not just the script, but even the body language too. Like, you could tell, like, the whole time he's, you know, kind of looking up at the camera with his puppy eyes, and, you know, I try and find something else. I didn't mean it. No, I apologize.
That was acting like a cry. I'm like, give me a break.
It really wasn't a good look. Like, that's why I said, like, all you had to do was say, look, I'm sorry, I did it. It won't happen again. Let's move forward. Just be genuine about it. Move on. You would have been more likely to be, well, not accepted all the way, but there have been a lot more people willing to accept that had you said something like that. But he didn't. He just kind of didn't take. He kind of said, "I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry how it happened." And then he said something like, "I didn't mean to come off that way," or whatever.
I got some breaking news here. This is a private message, but it's not something that's secret. But I will block the name of the person. It says, well, I'll just read it. Philip gave me 2 strikes for re-uploading his deleted video. LOL.
Whoa.
His channel got 2 strikes for uploading a deleted video.
Whoa.
So I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say who said that, but somebody just PM'd me that. So
whoever it was should just make a, you know, a half-assed apology response video to it.
Pretty
I'm sorry.
much.
I'm sorry.
So the moral of the story is don't be out here just stealing people's stuff. Let's just be honest. Not without permission.
The story
anyway.
is be more like Donald Trump, I guess.
I guess. But either way, we're gonna move on to the next topic. So, I mean, I'll leave this up to you guys. What do you guys want to talk about? You want to talk about Nintendo and Square-Enix, or do you want to talk about Nintendo and them pretty much not intimidating, but causing the shutdown of EMU Paradise? Like, what do you guys want to talk about? Which one do you want to talk about first?
It's whatever for me.
JT,
I'll talk about whatever.
Let's talk about EMU Paradise. Let's go on.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead. And so, like you already know that Nintendo has been after these ROM companies, ROM websites, like for what, the last 2-3 weeks now. At least it's been public. They've probably been doing it forever, but it's been public that they've been going after them hardcore for at least the last 2 weeks. So, from what I read in the article, I don't know if Nintendo went after them, but they sort of preemptively like shut down the site and said we're not hosting ROMs anymore. What do you think about this news? I mean, as far as they went ahead and said, you know what, we're out before they can even get to us.
They went after them.
Did they go after them? Okay, I didn't know if they went after them or not. But like Nintendo is not playing games when it comes to these ROMs, people. JT, I know you got a mouthful. You got a lot to say about this because this is kind of one of those subjects that I don't know if it rubs you the wrong way, but I know that you're kind of passionate about this one. So you go ahead.
Yeah, but I kicked it off last time. Let's kick it to Switchcraft to start.
Switchcraft, go ahead. You start, bro.
Well, I guess it means that there's a whole bunch of games I'm never gonna play. No, I'm just kidding. I think that okay. First and foremost, I think that the reason why they made this website in particular the scapegoat for taking this public is it wasn't just the ROMs. Like there's tons of sites where you can get ROMs. Yeah, this place was probably maybe the biggest, but if you looked at their site and some of the stuff that Nintendo actually cited, it was like it looked like almost a Nintendo site. Like you had Marios and Luigis and Mario Worlds everywhere. So I kind of get it. And one thing that you got to do, like I've worked with and talked to lawyers in the past about trademark stuff. Nintendo has an obligation to uphold their trademarks and their copyrights, because if you see people or it's out there that people are ripping off any kind of copyrights or trademarks that you have and you're not showing that you are doing something about it, then you lose the rights to that copyright or trademark. So this is a little bit of them taking a little bit of responsibility for their intellectual property, but at the same token, these sites get mirrored, and it's not going to be like the internet's going to be void of ROMs forever.
No, not at all.
I want to chime in.
Go ahead.
I want to chime in with that. Here's the thing here's the other side of ROMs that a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. These websites get paid hosting for this. So to host these websites, it's like they're still making money off having these ROMs on their website.
Fair enough. Yep.
That's another legal side that we're not even talking about when it comes to this. So in that regard, Nintendo is in their rights. But Smash and I, we talked about this a few times, and one of the things that I brought up in a previous podcast was when they went after Love ROMs, I said, yo, take that as a declaration of war. This is not going to be the end. You're going to see more of this. And everyone was arguing that when you take down one, 10 more will come up. And I'm like, yo, people are not going to keep making ROMs if they're going to get shut down. And the biggest example is EMU Paradise, because the biggest one is shutting down. Now, most of them are going to be scared.
That's
of
true.
Course, you're gonna have more people come out. But if those people who come out get dealt with immediately, it's going to just shut down the whole thing. It's like for a while, it's like, of course, people can still get movies. You can always find stuff online, but it's going to be something that the general public is not going to go after. And the reason why, as I stated before, Nintendo is going to probably have every single of their games from their NES all the way through this Nintendo Online service. Look at this is my prediction. I'm gonna validate this prediction with what I know. Going back to the Nintendo Switch's early life cycle, you got Neo Geo games every single week when the Switch came out. You still get Neo Geo games. We was getting Neo Geo games for at least 1 year's time. So with the Nintendo Switch Online service, I could see them doing the NES, and then when the NES is done, flushing out the SNES games, then flushing out the N64 games, then flushing out the GameCube games, and having all of them accessible for one price of $20 a year, which is definitely a steal if you think about 100%. That. So in all retrospect, people are getting a virtual console, but a virtual console on steroids if they're willing to wait. And that's my prediction on how I see Nintendo's handling this. But people have no incentive of spending that $20 per month, $20 per year rather, if you can get it, you have a free option. The incentive is gone.
I mean, I would argue on that, because I think it's been proven with the Wii Shop that ROMs had always existed. I just think Nintendo's been charging far more than what they should be for the value of what these games are. But they were selling them.
But this is a whole different ball game now, because now it's $20 a year for the whole entire for everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's actually a better deal now. So what's changed?
So that's what I'm saying. The fact that they have a better deal now, they want to make sure they eliminate any other competition.
Yeah. So you're saying they're looking back at the Wii Shop, and in corporate they're saying that was cutting into our sales. You think they were saying that?
I think. Go ahead. I would think that with I think, like you said, down the line with this whole Nintendo Online service, I think the plan is there for them to have some of these older games included more and more. I agree with him on that one, and I think that them getting rid of this ROMs is a way for them to keep them from biting into their profits. I think so.
And Smash, to answer your question, I don't think it was so much biting into their sales, because they weren't nearly as aggressive back then with their Nintendo Wii. So it's like, I think there was more so threats saying, hey, take it down, but they weren't as aggressive because they weren't making too many sales on the Wii Shop anyway. And they were making a lot of sales on their Virtual Console games. Virtual Consoles games were the highest selling games on the Wii U. So in terms of indie, I'm not going to say they were outselling like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart 8 and stuff like that, but they were making a pretty good profit off their Virtual Console games. But in order for this online service to come about, and you're offering a game somewhat basically free, you need to chop off the fat with the competition.
Well, here's what kind of frustrates me about the entire situation. If you take a big step back, like you go back to GameCube, before online, before DLC, before anything like that, in the modern age at least, look at Animal Crossing and how Nintendo treated the ROMs, where they're like, there was no value, there was no inherent value to the games. They wanted to put them in as an incentive to play the game and unlock The Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, and Punch Out on Animal Crossing. The second Nintendo realized, oh, hey guys, there's money to be made here, that's when they started piecing them out. And that's what really frustrated me, because they turned it from a let's have fun with this to a let's make money out of this. They turned into from a toy company and entertainment company to a business. And I don't like when companies do that, because when you get too corporate, you start to lose your audience and the values that they have.
Understandably so, I 100% agree with that, because it's like, it's not so much the value. You don't really value your consumer as much. It's more so digits, numbers. It's more a whole bunch of ones and zeros at that point.
Exactly.
Your consumer is just data at that point. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, but I at the same time, I can't.
They're trying to make as much money as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what? And I want to make this out there. I'm not saying that I disagree with how you feel, Smash It. I'm just explaining it out there. Like, I grew up playing ROMs myself, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm against ROMs, but I'm just simply sitting out here explaining, like, hey, I see where they're coming from. And the reason why I see where they're coming from, because, you know, the four of us, we're building brands of our own. So it's like, I look at it as myself. And I took a second. I said, if I had a product that had a 20 to 30 year lifespan, and it still has a lifespan inside of it, do I want others to still gain from that? And I can't answer that question right away. I can say yes, not being in that position, but I don't know if I would say yes if I was in that position. And
Yeah, well, you got a whole bunch of things you got to consider, and like Smash said, that they are a company right now. They're a corporation, and they're looking out for the bottom line. And there's a bunch of other things that you have to consider in this whole thing. At the end of the day, they would not have done this if it didn't make financial sense. Because even if nothing happens and it just disappears, they've already spent a ton of money on lawyers. Lawyers are not cheap. And, who knows what motivating factors really. Maybe it's some plans for virtual console in the future or, near future that they're trying to shore up. Maybe it's a new CEO trying to make a name for himself in front of some perhaps recently a little bit more agitated investors. I mean, you don't really know what they're... sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, look at it. We're all looking at from Nintendo's perspective against the gamers, and I want to take the perspective of, remember the legalities of ROMs, which is an extreme gray area, and you guys all know this. Where technically, from what I understand, and I am far from being a lawyer, so correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, ROMs are completely legal. ROM hosting sites are completely legal. The whole thing is trusting the consumer. It's kind of like Napster all over again, where they trust you to download what you already own as a backup because you are legally allowed to own that backup. And and what I'm frustrated about is Nintendo is being the aggressor, taking that choice away from the consumer and saying, we don't trust you. And for good reason, for a good reason, though. But the onus of finding out is on them, not us. So why are we having to be penalized for this? Like, what about all the people who are downloading the ROMs honestly for the right reasons to back up all the games that they have? No longer have that option anymore because Nintendo is threatening big suit lawyers, and that's the angle that I take on this, and that's why I don't like it being taken down.
I agree with you 100%, and I think that some of it has to come down to, I mean, you can't really expect Nintendo to go after people in...
Okay.
You there, bro?
Do you lose him?
I think we might have lost him.
Frozen. Oh man,
he's frozen. Right there. He's frozen. Oh man.
All right. Well, I'll keep it going until he comes back.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You want to go in, Nick?
No, go ahead. No, I'm gonna go.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say, Smash, I totally agree with you. It's like, to the consumers, it's not really a comfortable situation because a lot of us, we would like to play a lot of these games, but from Nintendo's standpoint, they've been secretive about. You coming back?
What was that?
Okay, I heard the robot voice. It's probably some internet connections.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was looking at is the only way I could see, this is just me coming from a marketing aspect of it, the only way I could see Nintendo could get any real gain from this is if they try to over push value to the consumer that, hey, what we're going to give you is 10 times better than this. And that's going to be a hard bargain to sell because
they're still taking the choice away from the consumer. Which at the end of the day, if the choice was there and they were saying the choice is there, but we are going in hardcore with the value, so you are coming with us. Like $20 a year, you can't say no to that, especially if what you're predicting is going to be true. You think you want to dare go through the depths of ROM hacking and getting stuff for your computer when you can pay $20 a year for all this?
Exactly.
That's why I'm pissed off about it. That's why I'm like, come on.
Switchcraft, you back, man.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro. What were you gonna say?
Well, what I was going to say is that, I mean, at a certain point, Nintendo has to, they can't go after 1 million people or, tens of millions of people who are supposedly downloading their ROMs. And I think that there's a little bit of a gray area from Nintendo's perspective in what exactly the law is and who they can litigate against and protect their intellectual property. And I think that this is kind of the way that their hand has been forced to try to do what they can about this whole situation, just go after the sites that are hosting all of this stuff, and maybe they just get them to kind of be a little bit scared and get shut down, and that kind of solves their problem, even if they're not 100% legally in the right.
I also
go ahead.
No, I actually want to add a point to what he said, and there's a point that we've all forgotten. There's a reason why Nintendo Switch does not have a browser right now. For those of you who own the Wii U, y'all would know that, and it happened on the Wii as well. But that's how the Nintendo got hacked the most. That's how all their games got hacked, and that's how all of those ROMs are on the internet. Most of those ROMs got to the internet because they got hacked through however means. So by the fact is the premise of how those ROMs got on the internet was through hacking. Nintendo already has a bad taste in their mouth.
True.
So that's why I was said, I could blame Nintendo, but if anything, and people hate me when I do this, I blame hackers. Hackers ruin everything for everybody.
That's how I hacked my PSP in 2005.
Well, then
don't incriminate yourself, Brad.
For ROMs that I owned, for games that I owned.
Fair enough.
My thoughts, and I don't even know where I'm even going to go with this, so bear with me. But
go ahead.
Pretend you got a copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES in your hand, and you got a digital copy of it on your computer. Nintendo doesn't have the ability to get money out of that Super Mario 3 physical copy from you because you rightfully own that. Nintendo doesn't rightfully own the digital version of anything. It's been sold, it's old, it's gone. That's back then, back in the day. If I own Mario 3, I am rightful to back it up on my computer. And Nintendo took that option away from me. And it's almost, I don't want to get political, but it kind of goes into the political world of, if Nintendo as a business had the business right to take away the physical good as well from you, they would do it. Like, that's the problem. We need to fight back. And it's kind of seeping into a whole different topic with what Bethesda, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with this, but what Bethesda is trying to block the sale of their physical games now. And I'm like, this is how these are connected. It's like these companies are overreaching their bounds, and it's a slippery slope. And I hate to use that, but it's a slippery slope where Nintendo started going after the ROMs, and now it got into, okay, they stopped all the ROMs, and now Bethesda's going after people selling physical items. Like, where does all this crap end? Are we kidding? Make a good game, and it will sell. If you build it, they will come. Stop worrying about all this other crap.
Well, maybe that slippery slope goes to, maybe they're putting in the foundation for a system that's digital only.
But that's fine. That's fine. Make it so damn good that people will buy that instead of what's already available. That's whole
crazy
point.
talk. That's crazy talk. Come on, Smash.
I would just say it's like, first of all, I love this discussion, but I would like to bring out an analogy. I don't know if I use this analogy with you guys, but I having some experience in the music industry, and it reminds me of the Creative Commons license, which you can still use for your YouTube videos. That's how you can use songs that don't belong to you. You can use the Creative Commons license so you won't get hit with copyright strikes. And that protects from copyright law if you're in the right bounds of using it. Now, we're not gonna go as deep into that. I would just go as to say with ROMs, it serves a similar purpose, whereas you can still have that Creative Commons license to go ahead and to have for available download of those ROMs. And granted, the person has the rightful place to download those ROMs. It's up to the consumer to say, hey, I really do have this, so I can re-download it. But the problem comes in, as NX put earlier, when it becomes a very gray area or where it becomes illegal, is where you are profiting off it. Even though you're not selling it, if you are receiving profits off this and you are making a livable income off doing this, that is a problem. And that's what Eden Paradise was doing. They had a corporation where people were getting paid salaries to work for this website. And if they release a statement, it's like they said their companies and their families. So there are people there are people who are providing for their whole entire families through this website. And I could look at it as that. I'm like, it's a slippery slope, both marketing and business wise, and even morally for me. Morally, I'm leaning towards their side, and I'm like, yo, this is how they provided for their families. But I lean towards the business side. I'm saying this is not really ethical. So at the end of the day, I definitely see where both parties are a little upset. I can see where both parties disagree. And that's why I've kind of fall straight in the middle of, I just don't know what I would do if I was in that situation that Nintendo's in right now.
Here's what I would add to that is, in the situation we're in right now, clearly Nintendo has something they're planning to do with their online service, which is why they're going so hard at the ROM sites right now. But my problem is, if they do not completely fulfill every single game that was taken down and have it available, which we all know they will not have. It's not legally possible for a major company to do that in this day and age. If they're not able to fulfill that, the only way that Joe Gamer is going to be able to go out and play Little Samson is to drop $1,000 on an NES card.
True.
Like, it's very preventative. And then you get into the discussion of, are video games a preservation or an art? And should people be able to experience these things from back in the day? And you're taking that right away. And then you get back into the whole, this is like freaking book burning. And it's taking away education. And it's taking away intellectual theory and taking away the rights to learn things by burning these books right now, by saying you guys can't use it.
I never thought about it that way. That's very interesting.
That's
a good analogy, because like,
that's a great analogy.
I know this much. Like, my kids wouldn't know what Kirby Superstar is or Super Mario World is if it wasn't for having ROMs. But that's a different story. But I want my kids to experience that and enjoy that. And you're right. If they take that away, I mean, the only way you'll be able to do that is under their banner, get a Switch and get it on and get the online service if that's the case. But not everybody wants to do that. You know what I mean? So I get everybody.
And you're assuming they're gonna have every game.
Right. True. Yeah. Exactly. So I get it. I get everybody's argument. This was a good discussion. This one was a good heated discussion. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, and we're gonna make this the final topic of the night. And this is my favorite topic because I've been preaching this on the channel. I've been preaching this on the last few podcasts. I mean, this game Abaddon, we talked about this game like for 1, 2, 4 episodes at least on this channel.
I'm back. I got to go back to work and, do a real job and go back to YouTube, which is not a real job per se. I actually have to work now, so I don't have time to play Octopath no more.
Right.
I'm a bit sad.
So apparently,
missing out.
So apparently, Octopath Traveler. We've been talking about it for a month now. I mean, ridiculous. Octopath Traveler has exceeded expectations for Square-Enix and Nintendo. And Square-Enix says expect more Switch games to come in the future from Square-Enix. We have talked about this. I mean, what do you guys want to see, and how exciting is this news for you guys? Because for me, I've been preaching nothing but on this channel. Like, please buy this game so we can get more opportunities to have these JRPGs on the Switch. Now it looks like it's going to happen. What are you guys' thoughts? Switchcraft, we'll start with you, bro.
Well, I think, at a certain point, it kind of blows my mind that Nintendo can be, if this is actually the case, so out of touch with its consumer base. Mother 3 localized, this game, JRPGs of this quality, it blows my mind, like I said, that they could be this out of touch. I don't know if they actually are, but regardless, I'm extremely happy with this game. I'm like 70 hours in. I'm going through chapter 4s, no spoilers, but I cannot get enough of this game. And like I said, when it first came out, like within a couple hours of playing it, my next most anticipated game is Octopath Traveler 2.
100%. 100%. This game is... Go ahead, Abaddon, but just go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because I was just going to say this game is amazing, and I'm only about 20-something hours in still. But I played a little bit today, got through Cyrus's Chapter 2. I'm a little bit behind, but I love this game, 100%. Sean Diamond says 100 hours in here. Wow, bro.
Sheesh.
That is a lot. That is a lot. Go ahead, Abaddon.
So I'm in the same boat as you. In fact, I just did Cyrus's Chapter 2 today myself, which was actually kind of interesting. But I want to call out Square-Enix. I'm like, this game was going to sell well.
Yeah.
don't sit here and lie to me. This nostalgia. You got a nostalgic Final Fantasy-ish type game. You know how much people love nostalgia games, and you made it at HD. The demo sold over 1 million copies. Come on. I mean, it was downloaded over 1 million times. That's so, but the demo was downloaded over 1 million times in about a week.
Call it sell, but yeah, it was ridiculous. Ridiculous numbers.
You can't tell me that the game wasn't going to sell that well. So them doing this was a brilliant marketing strategy to limit the games. They pulled a page out of Nintendo's handbook by doing that, by limiting the stock to increase demand. And then when they increased demand, they had a whole bunch ready for a whole bunch of people. So they sold well over 1 million copies in just 3 weeks. 3 weeks time from their release date, which is pretty darn good. That's pretty good. I'm going to be really interested in seeing Q3's sales numbers and seeing how much this game actually generated in revenue. But in terms of the game exceeding expectations and us seeing new Square-Enix's games, I really want to see a remake of Chrono Trigger. I know I'm selfish with that, but I really
that's not selfish.
That's not selfish.
By that.
Everybody in this party, as soon as you said remake of Chrono Trigger, we're all like, yeah, do it now.
I really want arguably one of the greatest RPGs of all time put on the Nintendo Switch and have that on the go. And
I delete the ROM if they did that.
I personally speaking, I don't want them to go the I Am Setsuna route and the Lost Spear route in terms of graphical design.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That design to me is kind of cringy. And looking at design, I understand how Smash JT felt originally about Secret of Mana Remake. It's like, it doesn't feel natural. So if Square Enix is really working on a Chrono Trigger remake, I would request Tokyo Factory does not work on it. It's not the publisher, the developer working on it. And that's pretty much my thoughts on that. Actually, no. I do have one request. I saw the game at the expo yesterday. Remake Super Mario RPG or give us Super Mario RPG 2. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. All of that. Bring that here. I want that. Super Mario RPG 2 or remake it 100%. I agree. Smash JT with the $5 donation. Appreciate you, my dude. Appreciate it. Oh man, I want more of that. Smash, what you got, bro?
Okay, so I got a lot to say. First off, for Super Mario RPG 2 to be coming through, if you see yourselves with a announcement to play as Geno and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, take that as Nintendo's way of saying, hey guys, Mario RPG 2 is coming. And that is my prediction. It's been my prediction forever. It's going to happen. I hope it happens. Honestly, if there's anything we've learned as gamers, when enough time passes, the game eventually comes. Like, you just have to wait. Whether it's a month, a year, sometimes 20 years, it'll come. Eventually, it'll be there.
Smash, I actually have to, my bad, Nick. Smash, I wanted to add to that. He's technically in Smash Wii U.
Yes, he is. But I'm talking about as a playable character. If they make like a whole big shebang unveiling, like they did with Simon Belmont, which by the way, nobody's even talking about. Makes me wonder if Konami's actually working on a Castlevania now for the Switch. So, but that's not where I was going with this. We can talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, what I was gonna say, I wrote this down, didn't want to forget. Abaddon, you said you didn't have enough time to be playing Octopath Traveler because you're working. Just take a page out of Nintendo and Bethesda's book. Go to work, bring your Switch with you, have your boss see you, and be like, sorry, I'm playing this, I'm loving it, get fired, and sue Nintendo, sue Square Enix, and say, I was addicted to your game, you made me lose my job.
Hey, that's a great...
That's logical law from what I've been seeing.
I would try that, but I'm union, so that wouldn't happen. I would just so that wouldn't happen for me, man. Yeah, like I said, I want to see Super Mario RPG. You done said it. Chrono Trigger 2 or Chrono Trigger Remake. You done already said it. I mean, there's tons of Final Fantasy 6 or 3, whichever one you want to call it. I'd love to see that come to the Switch. That would be awesome.
I'm not done, by the way. But go ahead.
Go ahead. I know you got a lot, but I want to get I wanted to get mine in. I want to get mine in. Go ahead.
I didn't even cut you off. I just didn't want you to forget about me.
No, go ahead. I just want to get mine in. You're good.
Okay, so Octopath Traveler, I'm loving it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. and I hate it. It sucks. It's really annoying me. You know, all those things. But the storyline drags multiple times. I feel like there's points in the game where I wish it would just, let's go get this bad guy. All right, cool, let's get him. And then they continue to talk for another 15 minutes. And I'm like, okay, already said all this. Let's go. Let's get this bad guy. And I love the combat system. The combat system is second only to Bravely Default as far as one of my all-time favorite role-playing combat systems. I love it. With that being said, they limit the combat. They limit the grinding because they know the audience doesn't want grinding. But they made the combat system so good that it makes you want to go into battles, and you don't get to battle enough in the game, at least for me personally. So that's one thing that I wish I could fight more. So right now I'm about 70 hours in. I'm all done with all 4 chapters, and I'm going to the final end game thing of it. No spoilers or anything, but I'm still playing it, and I'm just going around the map. There's not much direction. I wish there's a little bit more direction involved. And then the final thing I'm going to say is for a Chrono Trigger sequel,
make it right.
This Octopath Traveler is proof that they can do the art style. So give me Chrono Trigger, a true sequel, not Chrono Cross. I want a true sequel to Chrono Trigger in this art style. Give me that, and I will die a happy man. And that's all I had to say.
Avedon with the $5. Thank you, bro. Make it rain, y'all. NX said something real quick because I'm gonna try to move on. He said you forgot to talk about Doom Eternal. That that is a good point. I forgot about that. That was announced that it's coming to the Switch right out the gate.
30 FPS.
Do what?
30 FPS too.
30 FPS right out the gate. I think that's big news. That's big news moving forward for Nintendo, as far as everybody says they're not getting major third-party support with Bethesda stepping up. Bethesda's making it a thing. We could probably see more. I do agree with that, but yeah, man, this Octopath, man, like, here's my deal. I love the game. 100% amazing. I'm only 20 hours in. I have 2 favorite characters right now that don't bore me so far, and that is Primrose. Her story is ridiculous. And after finishing chapter 2 of Cyrus, I have changed my mind on Cyrus. 100%. His story is getting a lot interesting. Now, I guess we're going to have to see more. I don't like Alphen as much. Ophelia, meh. Whatever. But
Ulbrich is boring.
Ulbrich, yes. But as far as where I'm at, I'm only in chapter 2s. I do agree with JT as far as, like, when you get to a certain spot, like, I don't need to deal with all that dialogue. Can we just go? Especially whenever the Primrose story, there was a lot of dialogue there. I was like, can we just go? Can we just go? Get there. I'm ready to murk this dude. Get out of here. But I do agree with that. But the game is amazing. The battle system, like you said, great. The way the game looks, I just find myself, every time I open the game up and look at it, I just still get wowed every time. Like, I cannot believe that they pulled this off. Like, every time, whether it's like looking at the water or whatever, I'm like, wow, this is still a thing on the Switch, and how amazing this is. I love it. I absolutely do.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Go ahead.
So,
yeah.
First off, how much time we got? Am I against the clock? Because I don't know what the clock is, and sometimes I ramble. So
I mean, go ahead. We got time.
Okay. Do you find Octopath Traveler sexist?
Oh,
no, I just think that it talks about some actual real life things or some real events that happen given the time period that the game is taking place.
Well, I mean,
there was an article, NX Revolution just commented on it. There was an article that brought it up. I think it was Mashable, and there was this writer who will remain unnamed that specifically focuses on Primrose's story and how it kind of parallels society and always seems to find a way to. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with the story. In fact, I don't even know how to say the word. I disagree strongly.
I can't say that word.
I don't know how to say it.
Vehemently disagree. I get you.
There we go. Vehemently. Thank you. I disagree strongly with that. But it does. I love stories that make me think about something on an angle that I was not necessarily thinking of. And this did. just that. But it also made me think, guys, at the end of the day, what are we doing here? It's a video game. And if people are going to be bitching and moaning about a game being sexist, make a game and make it the way you want to make it.
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping you. Go do it.
I think Anita Sarkeesian tried that. It didn't work out so well.
I mean, they've been trying to say video games have been sexist. You know, if you want to pull a point, look at, you know, Street Fighter, how they designed their characters. Look at Grand Theft Auto 5. There's a whole bunch of other games you could look at and build a better case.
You know, the people that always make those articles are the people not trying to sell games.
Yep. Yeah. Or buy games, or even buy games.
Even buy games or play games, exactly.
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. Like, I agree with that, but I'm like, it's set in a time where, you know, these things were kind of happening, so you shouldn't be too surprised. Like,
it's a brothel for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's a brothel, and you shouldn't be surprised when these things are happening. It is ridiculous, right? You shouldn't be too surprised. So that will be the last topic of the night. Tonight was a good night. Tonight was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody for stopping by, everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome. And the guest for tonight, Avedon, stopping by for, I've lost count. I've lost track and count of how many times it's been, but either way, appreciate you, my dude. Let the people know what you're about, what you do, all that good stuff. And don't forget your business card this time.
Y'all gonna drop kick you. I'm gonna drop kick you when we go to stream.
All right.
So that's a cameo for you guys when you guys watch my vlog. So anyways, I'm Avedon Smith. I do original soundtrack reviews for video games. I also do live stream reactions to anime and video game trailers. I also do live streams on the weekend. I also give gaming opinions. So do a blend of stuff, but it's all things gaming, all things anime. So that's all I have to say about my channel. Passing the torch on to Smash JT.
There you go.
Whoa. Well, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Smash JT. I do videos. I don't know. Honestly, we talk video games. I'm passionate about it. Sometimes people think I'm fake about it because I talk really loud and yell a lot, but I like video games. I used to be a game tester. I used to be a game master. I used to be a recruiter in the game industry. I love playing video games. I like playing them so much that my wife gets pissed at me.
Yep,
but
we're all there.
One thing I promised myself when I was a kid is to never lose this, and that is something I'm staying true to myself. And it's something that I feel like all of you guys have as well. And I appreciate you. Every time I read a story that says, you know, I grew out of video games or I don't really have a passion for it, it makes me sad. Brings a tear to my eye. So check me out. I'll put my channel in the description if you want. And I have a whole slew of videos coming up. I do an unboxing of gifts sent to the channel. I do a video on Are Sequels Even Necessary, which is prompted by the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I also have another video about Fortnite training and people paying for school. Those 3 videos will be coming up in the next week, and they are all very entertaining. You will enjoy them. So subscribe, hit the bell, and enjoy what I do, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for having me on, Nicktendo.
Yes, sir. His link is in the description box. It's right there. Switchcraft, rookie to the podcasting game. This is his first podcast ever. First time on this one, obviously. Bro, I appreciate you for stopping by. It was good. It was awesome. Let the people know what you do, what you're about, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So it was actually the Nintendo Switch, and you can probably get that from my name, that got me back into gaming. I thought that maybe I had outgrown it a little bit, but I didn't want to disappoint Smash. So once the Switch came out, it was Zelda Breath of the Wild that really, really got its hooks in me. And so much so that January 1st, I made a New Year's resolution that I was going to start a little YouTube channel with probably just my wife and son watching. Luckily, I've had a little bit of success since, and it's mostly been from Nintendo Switch related stuff, and more recently I've tried to branch out a little bit into some things that perhaps have a little bit more reach and a little bit more shelf life. And what I'll try to do is put together videos that topics in gaming that come along, usually related to the Switch, that or anything Nintendo that pique my interest and that I think that I have a perspective on that is worth sharing. So that's me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, everybody go subscribe to Switchcraft. And I have to piggyback on something that you said, because my story is very similar. I had an Xbox, all this stuff. I used to be a Nintendo fan until the GameCube. Wii came out, didn't like it. Switched to Xbox, and it just kind of got stale there, me playing games. But the Switch, 100%, the Nintendo Switch brought back my passion for gaming, my passion back for Nintendo. I'm with you. Me and you are right there together with that one, dude. Absolutely. 100%. Yes, you know who this is. Nicktendo Direct. You're here, my channel. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Podcast on Sundays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. That's just how it works out for my schedule and everything else like that. You know, I do the anime reviews, Nintendo news, the podcast, and various. I try to do indie reviews as well once I get those games. But regardless, there you go. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. It was been a good night. You guys are awesome. See you next week.
Peace. We're offline?
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.